Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here today I have with me a diamond in the rough. His name is Jyran Mitchell. He is a running back out of Butler. Nice to have you, sir.
Man, I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man, no problem. Definitely a running back that I feel a lot of people really need to get to know. He's had a really great season last year. Was Offensive Player of the Year for the Pioneer League and doing well so far in this whole draft process. Did a good job in your pro day and a lot of other things happening too. So, Jyron, if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself and let's get started in this.
Jyran Mitchell, like you said, from Butler University. Went to three different schools, so bounced around a little bit, but finally found a good home that I was able to thrive and shine at my last year. With going back to my coach that recruited me, so it's been a long journey, but I'm happy about every part of it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely finished as good as you could possibly do it. I mean, you ended up being the Offensive Player of the Year for the Pioneer League, rushing over 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, and again, like you said, you did bounce around a little bit. So let's try our best to kind of walk through all these things. But let's first go back to the early years. In my notes, I have that you went to Rich Central there in the Chicago area. Talk to me about the early years of you being an athlete and participating in high school.
Man, so I was a three-sport athlete. I played football, basketball, and I ran track. Um, I started at quarterback. My freshman year, I came in. Started as on JV, didn't have the best season to say the least as a team. But the coaches knew like how I was progressing, and they told me from the jump be ready to be on varsity as a sophomore. So I got prepared for that. Uh, Throughout that quarterback there was the most winningest quarterback. Had all the records there at quarterback. I just didn't have the size and the height that they wanted for the next level at quarterback. Especially at that time. So, uh, but yeah, ended up playing quarterback there. All 3 years started. Then basketball season, I played all 3 years. I didn't play my junior because I went to focus on football actually my junior year, and then ended up getting my offers and stuff. Then I came back my senior year and started, and then track was always a big track guy. Won state, went to state all my freshman, sophomore, junior year. Didn't get a chance to participate my senior year, but won state my junior year in the 4x1 and the 4x2. So that was yeah that state track team was broke all the records at the school as well. So we had some guys.
Nice. Sounds good. Again, just a quick recap. A former quarterback who also did some other sports, again, some basketball and track and field. And I would imagine a lot of people that grow up in the Chicago area want to play basketball.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that that's kind of it's in your blood and it's not going anywhere. But you still a fan these days? You following along with stuff or what?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm on like Chicago Bulls is home, so it's like, and then growing up watching like Derrick Rose was like our Michael Jordan, like he from the same city, so it was we watching him. Everybody wants to be like D Rose, so yeah, I still watch the Bulls. I was actually watching them last night, so yeah, it's something I do all the time. I'm a big sports guy.
Cool, cool. And then, like you said, a very successful track and field athlete. Um, so let's talk a little bit about that because I think that most people, of course, they've known you mostly as a running back, right? Like you were a quarterback, you were running back, but you have this track and field going on as well, and people view you as a runner. What's the difference like when you're training on the track versus training as a football player? How does that look?
Well, once, I mean, them track workouts, if it's like a lot of hundreds, a lot of 200s, a lot of 400s, especially back in high school. So definitely was training for the longevity and like endurance of the running. So it was like I would lose some weight, but being a running back, all we were doing is short bursts and trying to maintain that weight and trying to, keep getting bigger to be able to take those hits. So it's a pretty decent training like difference.
And of course, some of that does transfer over, to the football field.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but the one thing that I feel should really help you as a player overall is the fact that you had been a quarterback in your early days. I mean, and of course, it's been like a good what 6 years since you've been a quarterback, something like that. But looking back on it, does it still help to be able to have that experience to view things from the eyes of being in the quarterback? Like, how has that helped you in your development?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just being a quarterback, I had one of the best quarterback coaches, to me ever. Quincy Woods, he was the number one quarterback coming out of high school, and ended up going to USC. So his knowledge of the game at quarterback was just tremendous. So if at running back, I can pick up blitzes, pressures, and quick. And even when I move out to receivers, like it's not too much coverage that's gonna fool me. I didn't seen a lot. So yeah, that background definitely helps a lot.
Cool. And again, like you said, maybe wasn't something that you would follow along with during your recruiting. It certainly maybe could have been possible if you might have gone to a smaller school out the gate, which
Yeah.
you didn't. You ended up going to Mac school in at Northern Illinois. Go ahead and walk us through this journey a bit, man, because this might take us a little bit of time. High school, Northern Illinois, Eastern Kentucky, and then ultimately Baylor or Butler, rather. Sorry. Go ahead and walk me through like how in the world those things happen.
Yeah, so coming out of high school, I pretty much had all the MAC. I had some bigger offers at like DB and safety, but I didn't want to go to the defense side of the ball, especially then. Now, whatever the league got for me, I'm all for it. But yeah, so I came out of high school. I did have some smaller FCS schools at quarterback, which looking where I ended at now, it wouldn't have been the worst thing. But yeah, ended up going to NIU because it was a hometown school, like hometown kid stays in the state, so that was a big story for me. And family is everything for me. So ended up going to NIU. They recruited me to be like a gadget player type because they knew I played quarterback and they knew I was good with the ball in my hand. So Coach Yu, which is actually the Butler head coach now, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna use you this way, that way." And when I got in, I actually came into college with an injury, so that like kind of slowed me down a lot. So, but then by the time I was healthy, the that coaching staff was gone. They all went to Temple at the time. So when that happened, then new coaching staff came in, and then I'm not knowing anything about transferring at the time. Like transfer portal was still new in 2018. So uh, yes, like I tried to stay in and you know do how they wanted, and then but they ended up changing me just to receiver. Huge change from quarterback and just being a gadget, to get the ball in his hands, having to run a route, run a curl, run a comeback, all that. So it was just a big difference. And it was a really big growing gap, I guess you could say. But
Yeah.
I ended up doing better, and then being able to even get a look at by the coaches, so they was able to put me into certain positions. Then I ended up tearing my hamstring, my red shirt freshman year. So it was just like, man, the injury bug got caught. And then going into my red shirt sophomore year, they was like, I was doing some really good things in spring ball prior COVID, and then fall camp when we came back. So they like, you're good with the ball in your hands. And then I'm like, coach, I can play running back. I played quarterback in high school. And then they like, we're gonna move you to running back. I'm like, cool, that's what I've been wanting to do anyway. So I did that and then just took off. Never really got the time, I guess I could say, like in the games that I would have, wanted, and I always knew that I could play football. So it's like didn't have any game film really. Like I had a couple, like one return and a couple practice clips and stuff, but I'm just like, I'm gonna pray to God and shoot, I'm a bet it all on myself. Ended up transferring out of NIU and then landed at EKU as a running back. There was some receivers left, and they was like, yeah, we'll do the same thing. My coach at NIU that recruited me said, yeah, we're gonna do this, this, this. I'm like, oh, perfect. Like Tavon Austin was my favorite college player, growing up. So I'm like, I can go in the backfield, I can play receiver, like I can do it. And then some guys left out at receiver at EKU. Then I just got stuck at then I got stuck at receiver. And then I knew I already transferred once, I can't transfer again. Like this has to work. So then I doubled down. It was a young guy that came in actually that was like my partner in crime in a good way. Like we're working out and like help elevate my game a lot. Jaden Higgins, he's at Iowa State now. He didn't number one receiver. So yeah, definitely. And that's another guy to look for next year. He's big time. But yeah, so started working out with him, elevated my receiver game a lot. But I mean, even though with this success I had at EKU, I knew like what I could do and the stats. I'm not a big stats guy. If it happens, it happens. But I knew I was better than what I was putting up. So I just knew like with the right system, I could, have that season and do what I know I can do. So left my full ride scholarship and gambled, blindly entered the portal, had some FBS looks then, 'cause, I was a grad transfer, but I'm just like, I did the FBS thing. Like I really want to go somewhere where I know I'm gonna get a shot. And then God, God came calling. And then Coach U calls when I entered the portal. And then like the receiver coach, he was a GA at NIU and I was there. So it was just like and then like they knew what I've been through. So they like, you're gonna be in a good situation here. And I'm just like, man, that's all I ever wanted. I don't care if it's D1, D2, D3. Like I want to play football and I just want an opportunity to show not only my family, but the world and just to prove it to myself that I can do what I know I can do.
Yeah,
And
I mean, again, just sort of recap a little bit. I mean, I think for what it's worth, I mean, you came in kind of, you came into college obviously injured, like you said, a slow start. Again, you're also switching positions. You're also trying to switch your mindset. You're being thrown around to like wide receiver, running back, and all this other stuff, and really trying to find yourself. And it really wasn't until you met back up with a former coach and you guys had that perfect marriage of like, him giving you the opportunity that you so deserve, that you can go out there and utilize all of your skill set. Again, you've been a receiver. You've obviously had to establish yourself as a running back, which, dude, this past season you did. I mean, you did a fantastic job this past year, and quite honestly, if we are being real, I don't know if we have actually seen the best of you as a running back, if we're being honest with ourselves. And that's saying something because we're looking at a guy who last year, phenomenal year. Okay, now what? You've really only had one solid year of doing it. So we'll see how these next steps really work out for you, but certainly exciting to see what's going to happen here soon. Again, a part of a lot of different offenses, different teams, schemes, a lot of things going on. And so again, Northern Illinois, Eastern Kentucky, and then ultimately there at Butler. Talk to me real quick about some of the teammates who perhaps influenced you the most or really impressed you the most during your time. Give me a couple of examples.
uh so shoot, I'll give you one from each school. At NIU, I would have to say Kyle Pugh. He was a linebacker, just his work ethic. And he was a dude that when I was getting recruited, you probably heard like he had the tremendous like 7 or 8 year career at NIU, but he was a dude that had injuries, but his work ethic was second to none. And like just the way he approached every day, like that's something that like a younger Jyran and even an older Jyran now still remembers, and I take that into account in my everyday life. That was probably one, and then Sutton Smith and just the way his motor in the game, play in, play out. He was a DN, All American at NIU, like just crazy motor. And that's something that I try to come like every day, like every down, every snap, just come with the same speed, the same energy. Yeah. So and then EKU, I'll have to say Jaden Higgins. Like that was like that was my guy. Like his work ethic as at an 18-year-old young guy, like he always knew what he could do. He had the body frame and like he came in with a plan and he executed. Now he's at Iowa State and he's their number one guy. And then Jaden Smith just not like doesn't say too much. He's at UTEP now from EKU. Never said too much. Just came to work, did what he's supposed to do, got in, got out, and that's just like something that like I've always done, but just to see, yeah, like if you want to just keep, you got to get guys that's like minded with you, and then like you're gonna like my dad would always say, if you hang around guys that's above you or like on with a good mindset, that's where you're gonna go. But if you hang out with guys that's less, they're gonna drag you down. So I always pride myself on having a good group of guys around me, and
Gotcha.
then
Great to
yeah.
hear. Keep going. You're good.
Oh, my bad. And then I was just gonna say at Butler, Brett Bush is the quarterback. Like day one, he came in, brought me in, and like helped me one adapt because it was a totally different culture at Butler than any of my previous schools. Like it was like a Ivy League type of school, so definitely different. But I enjoyed my time there. Jeremy Johnson, yeah, just to say say a few names, but the way they brought in the energy, just the fun, just you know, yeah, definitely helped my time at Butler go by real smooth.
Yeah, for a lot of people that may not know, I mean, again, Butler, part of the Pioneer League, somewhat similar to the Ivy League, where academic performance is really up here, and I mean, it really is hard to kind of keep it with everybody else, and also their scholarships are different. They're not as plentiful as other schools, and most often it's academic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you real quick because I mean, again, you've had your fair share of college classes, and what did you major
At Butler or my
in
degree?
general, man? Just
Oh, Jenner.
run
So,
through it real quick.
yeah, I got my bachelor in business administration, and then I started my master's in data analytics at Butler.
Nice. And so um, give us a sense, man. Have you thought about life beyond football? I mean, maybe perhaps what you might be able to do with that major, or anything of that sort.
Yeah, so with my business administration degree, so me and my brother actually has a gym out in the Chicagoland area. It's called Mitch's Fitness. So that's really be taking up a lot of my time outside of football, just training kids, and my business degree helps me be able to like know what's going on with the business, like the books and all that thing. So things of that nature. And then also my parents has an after school program that is like a family business that we help out with a lot. So that's life after football for me.
Hey, well, I mean, obviously you got a lot of good things going on. Let's turn our attention back towards you as a player, again, running back. Talk to me a little bit about you as a running back. I mean, we've already talked about how you have really molded yourself into a running back, which at first you weren't, but you've developed into a player who I think a lot of people really need to get to know. Um, Talk to me about the type of running back people would be getting if they took a chance on you, man. What are your strengths and that sort of thing?
The type of running back that they would get out of me, like with my strengths, is speed, knowledge of the game, and every down back. Like my PFF grade, like I graded out good blocking, and then playing receiver, catching the ball out the backfield is second nature, and that's pretty much what football is coming to now. Like you got to be able to catch, run, and block. And then with my body type, I could do all three. So
Yeah, and like you said, today's game, that's kind of what you need because the position is already being devalued as is. You got to make yourself available and have the physical skill set to go out there and be an every down back. Be a guy who can go out there and block. Go out on a route, and maybe even do some special teams. Have you had much experience on special teams? What's your attitude towards being a special teams player?
hey, special players play special teams. I mean, before I had this All American Player of the Year season this year, I got my money on special teams. Like that's how I earned my keep. So I didn't play like I was a four-core special teams guy, but before I was a big time running back. So it's like I don't shy away from nothing. Like special teams, like that's a big part of the game. And then at the end of the day, it's all about winning and losing games. And then games are won and lost on special teams. So if I can be on any special teams and make that play to help win a game, count me in.
Okay, well, that's a good mindset moving forward. So, definitely earned your respect this past season, dude. You had some fantastic games, a couple of which, or several of which, over 100 yards. A couple, I think, over the 200 mark. Share with me your favorite memory, maybe perhaps from this past season.
Favorite memory, man. I had a lot of I had a lot of good games, but probably my Valparaiso game. Just a big run because it was a real chess match. They was doing their best trying to stop me and like keep me contained, and then I ended up breaking a long one. And then Valparaiso and Butler, that's battle of two Indiana schools, so that was a big rival. The stadium was packed, and that was a rival I didn't even know about before. So coming into the game, just seeing it's like Bears and Green Bay, and that's so that's like a similarity. But yeah, like going into that game was a heavy emphasis on we don't like Valpo, and even to this day, I don't like Valparaiso. So, but yeah, breaking that long run to score, and then it was a close game. It was 7-17, and like in the score. So that was my only score of that game. But I broke probably like an 80-yarder or something, and then just to see my teammates and just like yeah, that was probably my best, my most favorite run of the season.
Gotcha. Definitely one of the good memories that you had, as a running back, and definitely making more memories here as of late. After your season was up, you had an invitation to the College Gridiron Showcase down in Fort Worth, Texas. And so you went down there and showed people what you got. How things work out there?
Man, CGS was a blessing because like even like the year I had is still like a kind of like an asterisk by it just because of the league and the school that I went to. But being at CGS, I was able to show like I'm going against people from SEC schools, Big Ten schools, and then I'm showing them like it don't matter, like I can play, So I was able to showcase my ability to catch the ball, run the ball, block, everything that I needed to show the NFL scouts. And shoot, ever since then, it was just up since that, like draft, like talking to coaches and just things I never would have thought I'll be would have been able to do, and it's just thank God for the opportunity and just the blessings.
Well, Jyran, I mean, definitely, even since the beginning of this year, like your trajectory as a prospect had just gone up and up and up. You ended up having a good outing at the CGS, and I also feel like you did a pretty good job at your pro days as well, attending the Northern Illinois one, Northwestern, and also some local days with the Bears and Colts. Uh, Talk about those experiences, man. I mean, obviously, having, posting some good numbers and such, but talk about these pro days that you've been a part of.
Yeah, so started with the Northwestern one. Trained my butt off for 2.5 months, and out in Texas, I was training with Arm Sports out in Houston. Great quality trainers. When I came to Northwestern, I had intentions on being the tops in every category, and that's what I did. So I was able to do that. Show my other than bench, I said the bench, but the bench I still got some more up in there. Like I wish I could get that one over, but everything else I was top 10. Well, would have been top 10 if I was participating in the combine this year. So killed it there. Was able to showcase, my catching ability out the backfield because that's what they had me do a lot of just some ROA. So I was able to do that, and then coach was really impressed. And then just just continue to just out catch a ball and just to see the coach turn their head like, who is this guy? Like that's always just like a all right, good, I'm doing something
What you
right.
want to see? So,
Yeah, right. Yeah. So just enjoying the process of keep building my resume and letting my name be known. And then the NIU Pro Day, I didn't do much there. I just caught a couple balls, but really just talked to some coaches when I went there. And then just recently, last week, I had a Monday. I was at the Indianapolis Colts. I'd had a really good day there. I felt that I killed it. The coaches, enjoyed me being there and stuff. And then the next morning, 8 a.m., I'm right back to the Bears doing the same thing. So when I was telling them like, yeah, I was just with the coach yesterday, like, man, yes, I'm like, coach, this is the grind and I'm all for it. Like, if y'all need me to be here tomorrow morning at 4 a.m., I'll be here, because it's just, I know the football is like the window of playing football is so short. And I just want to, one, enjoy every process, like, well, enjoy every moment. And then two, like, I want to be able to just continue to show because I can play at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, again, just to kind of talk about some of the numbers you were able to put up. Forgive me if the 40 is wrong because everybody debates the 40, but 4.56 is
Yeah.
what was posted. 37 and a half inch vert, 10.7 broad jump. Three cone was pretty nice, 6.9 three cone. And obviously, I know you want to get that bench up, so I ain't gonna mention it. People can just go find it themselves. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it was just kind of
Yeah.
run of the mill,
Yeah.
type thing. But I know you can get that up there for sure. But
Absolutely.
dude, you've been working. You've been working hard. You've been going out there, going to several pro days, and local days, and a lot going on for you. And again, like I said, your trajectory it just keeps on going up and up and up. And we're looking at a guy whose potential we may not have even seen yet. And then, of course, all your background as a wide receiver, as a former quarterback, I feel like all of that put together makes you a very intriguing prospect, which people need to put on their draft boards. Let's be real, man. You could be drafted. Let's start thinking about that so that we can make it happen. A potential guy that could be drafted, maybe in the late rounds or whatever. As we close up our time, can you close up with just your pitch to everybody as to why you should be drafted and what they would be getting if they took a chance on you? Go for it.
Man, to all the GMs, to all the coaches, to all the scouts, I'm a guy that's coming in with energy, with knowledge of the game, and then just with humbleness. I'm gonna come in every day to work with my best foot forward, ready to do whatever it takes to not only just to win, but to make the team better. And then, hey, I'm a small school guy. Like, come get the cheapest running back in the draft. So y'all can go get the high end guys, but I'll be fine with whatever y'all send me. Like, I want my opportunity.
I mean, definitely could be a huge steal for a football team. I mean, you're going to go out, maybe get drafted, maybe not, but of course have an opportunity to, make a 53 or get on the training, you know, be a practice squad guy, that sort of thing. Definitely have an opportunity to do that. And dude, it's going to happen very soon. So, Jyran, I know you've been busting your butt doing a whole lot of things, and I think you're doing a great job. Also want to just, you know, give you, I don't know, a little bit of love, man. I mean, and tell people that, you need to be on their board. So, I wish you all the best. Okay.
I appreciate you.
All right. Once again, I got Jyran Mitchell, running back out of Butler. Check him out.